Hey guys, what is going on? codingwithjan.com. So if you want to sell your Shopify products on a different website, whether it be Webflow, Framer, WordPress, whatever, there are essentially two ways to do it. Number one, you can set up a quick buy button. It takes like 3 minutes to set up, but also comes with limiting options in terms of customization. Or we can also use Shopify's Storefront API, which gives us much more flexibility. And it doesn't even have to be crazy complicated if we use some of the pre-built web components that Shopify provides. In this video, we'll have a look at both of these options, which should be good for 80% of the real-world use cases. And if you want to learn or work together, links in the description, I would love to. All right, then let's get started with the easiest option, which is the buy button. And if you don't have the app yet, which is for free and maintained by Shopify, you can just go to the App Store, search for buy button channel, and then install it from here. Once you have the app installed, this is what the dashboard looks like. And here we only have one option, create a buy button. So let's follow with that option. And here you can either recommend a certain product or a certain collection. I'll go with product in this case. I'll go ahead with one of our winter edition coffees here, the cinnamon coffee, and then select that one. And now we have at least a few different options, like the layout you want to select. Do you just want to have the add to cart button and then maybe an image on the other website already? Or do you want the classic view or even the full product page view? So we do have a couple options here. You can also change the button style. Here you can see I already selected brown as a background color because it goes nice with the coffee product. But that's totally up to you. And for this example, I'll also just go with the classic view. You can also decide what the button is supposed to do. In this case, add to cart was auto-selected, but I think it makes more sense to directly redirect the user to Shopify's checkout. And then I'll hit next. And now Shopify created the snippet, which we need to embed on our other website. Now, either way, we can already copy this code, but how you embed the code depends a bit on where you want to display products and the platform you're using. So sometimes you might have to paste this into like some sort of text editor. Some websites have a theme-like editor, a theme customizer. So in this example, I can show you how to do it on Webflow, but it's going to be similar on different platforms. So here I have the theme customizer open, or the Webflow designer. And then you would just go to the page template where you want to have this element and then go to the rough position. So for example, here after my main content, I have this div block right here. And now I'll add a new element. I'll search for code embed. And here we can paste the custom code that we copied to our clipboard earlier. All right, I'll save and close this. So now the custom snippet is embedded right here. It doesn't seem to work in this preview. So now I go ahead and publish the website. And if we now inspect the live page, we should find our product right here. And the buy button should redirect us to Shopify's checkout. Let's try that. Seems to work, and the product is in cart. Awesome. And all of this only took 2 minutes to set up. So that's a quick win if you don't need something super custom. All right, then let's move on with Shopify's Storefront web components. And as the name suggests, these are kind of like easy to use web components based on Shopify's Storefront API. If this is the first time you hear about the Storefront API, I highly recommend my full guide on Shopify's APIs, where I give a way better overview. But in simple terms, the Storefront API lets you use Shopify's core functionalities, like viewing products, adding things to cart, displaying product information, and so on and so forth, outside of themes. So basically on any other website, any mobile app you've developed, or it could even be the self-checkout in a coffee store, like any place other than native Shopify themes. Now, traditionally, when using the Storefront API, we would have to write GraphQL queries, which is a bit more technical, and then you would request the data you need and bake it into your application or your custom layout. The Storefront web components, however, simplify this process a bit, because with them, we don't need to write full-blown GraphQL queries, and instead just use simple HTML elements. Let me show you this right here. So, for example, if you want to use the product title, you can just use a custom component called Shopify data. And then inside the attribute query, you just put the data field that we want to request. So in this case, product.title. And then down below, you can see the next container contains the product price right here. And there's also a custom tag for that, Shopify money. And then the query parameter just says product selected our first available variant, .price. Yeah, so this is almost like a templating language on top of the Storefront API. The main benefit now is that we have full control over customizations. We can request new data fields that are missing in this layout or in this pre-built component. And since we have access to the HTML, we can move things around. So let's just imagine you want the price above the title. Then I could just grab the product title, cut it out, and then paste it right after the price container. And that would flip the order. Or we can also style these elements however we need them. So this is extremely powerful if you have a basic understanding of HTML and CSS, or you could also vibe code this a little bit. And it's also a great way to get started with like headless storefronts and headless setups if you don't want to use the full Storefront API with GraphQL queries and whatnot from the beginning. All right, then let me also show you how to connect this to our store. And as a first thing, we have to take a look at this most outer element here, Shopify store, that wraps everything, like all the HTML inside. And here you find one attribute called store domain. So yeah, first we need to replace this one. And here I paste the my Shopify domain of my development store. So codingwithyandev.myshopify.com. You have to replace this with your store domain. You can also localize this component if you're using Shopify Markets. I also have a full video on Shopify Markets. I will also link that down below. And then a little further down, we should find another component called Shopify Context. So this is the context we're providing for, let's say, the product title, the product price, the product description. And the context in this case is going to be of type product. That's okay. But the handle, in my case, is just coffee. So now it already loads the coffee product. Awesome. And if you're unsure about the product handle, you can find that on the product editor. So this is the demo product I created. And then at the very bottom, where it says search engine listing, you can find the handle right here at the end. All right, now with this adjustment, we could already bring this component to our other website, Webflow in my case. But before we do that, I want to also show you how we can add different data fields or new data fields here, if you're interested in that. And there are certain properties that are just public, like the product title, for example, or the product price, because it's public anyways, right? If you visit the store, you can find out all this information. But then there are also data fields that require an access token. It's going to be a public access token, but it needs to be present. For example, if you want to request data such as the product inventory, for example, because you may not want to display this, so there needs to be an access token to retrieve this. So if we take a look at the Storefront API documentation, and then inside the product object, we can see all the different data fields that are available, like created at, description, let me see what else, featured images, the product handle, like a ton of different data fields. But this time I'm interested in one that's called total inventory. And you can also see this little log icon here. So that means an access token is required. And in order to generate this access token, we first need to install an app called Headless, also built and maintained by Shopify, completely for free. And once the app is installed, we can go ahead and create a new storefront. And then here, inside Manage API Access, you can go to Storefront API, click on Manage. So this is going to be the public access token that we need in 1 minute. And then down below, we can also edit the API permissions, like what areas we want to make public. Here we first need to enable editing. And then we can add the unauthenticated read for product inventory. Yeah, so only check this if you want to publicly expose product inventory. In my case, not a problem, or might even be required for the feature you want to build. So I'll accept that. Save the changes. And then we can already copy this access token right here and come back to the editor. Before I paste this access token, let's implement a small headline that displays the product quantity. And then you would also see the error message that occurs if we don't have the access token. So now I'll go down to the product title again. I have it right here, an H1 wrapping Shopify data and then product title. I think I'll just copy this H1 block right here, paste it down below. So here I basically just duplicated the product title. And now instead of the product title, I want to display the total inventory. But now instead of the product title, I want to display the total inventory. So I copy this data field and then paste it right here. Here we immediately get this error message, access denied for total inventory field, because we do need the access token now. So this is how you know. So then let's go back up to the very top. And then on our Shopify store component, I want to add a new data field right here. I'll break into a new line for better readability. And this one is called public-access-token equals quotes. And in between the quotes, I'll paste the access token that we copied from the Shopify backend. So let me paste this right here. And now we should see the total inventory, 450 products left for this coffee item here, right under the title. And of course, in a real world scenario, you wouldn't want to have a second H1. And maybe I would also add some text in front, like, hey, items left. But I think this is a good way to demonstrate what's possible, how you access new data fields, and even the protected ones where you need the public access token. Okay, now with all of this in place, I will copy and paste all the code that we have at this point. And then back in Webflow, I'll come back to our code embed block here, remove everything we previously had from the buy button, and then paste our new code instead. Save and close, publish everything. And after the next refresh on the front end, we should now find our full custom web component here, including the inventory count, including the price above the title. Variant select mechanism also works. Add to cart works. Buy button should work. And if we click checkout, we should get redirected to Shopify's checkout. Seems good. So everything here is working properly. Awesome. All right, guys, and that's all I have for this video. I think this is a good example because, the buy button is something every developer should know. Super quick and easy win if you don't need a lot of customizations. Then the Storefront web components, which are still relatively new, are a very easy way to ease into using the Storefront without writing full GraphQL queries. So those are also quite powerful. In the video description, I will link 3 guides. The full Shopify Markets guide, the full API overview guide, and then also one video if you want to get started with GraphQL and take it to the next level. And beyond that, I really hope there was something in for you. If you got any questions or other topics in the comment section, if you want to work or learn together, I would love to. Links in the description as well. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.